Hello, welcome to my pub quiz this evening, the third episode, Risky Quizness. If someone could just let me know in the box whether you can hear me or not, that'd be great. Just want to double check that the sound's coming through okay. That's great. So, good news, you can all hear me. For those that have been waiting in the meeting room, you would have seen that I've left a message at the top to let you know the subjects for tonight, but I run through them. So as usual, there's general knowledge to kick us off. After that, we'll have a logos round as requested from last week. We then have sport and science as one round, so 5 questions from each. The next round after that is we'll have a break. Then it's food and drink, and then what is the last two? Food and drink. Are you smarter than a 12-year-old? And film, which this week is purely on Marvel films, which I know is slightly niche, but it's been requested many times. So I thought I'd get it done. For those that you really like Marvel and enjoy it, then I'm sure that'd be great. Others, it may not be your thing, but please, carry on. So yeah, 6 rounds as normal. If you haven't played before, we do 3 rounds, the first 3 rounds. We then take a quick break and we mark the first 3 rounds. And then we carry on with the rest of the quiz, 4 to 6. And then we do a final marking at the end and try and see who's won. So what I want to do before we kick off is to get an idea of everyone's teams and team names, just to be a bit more organised. So I'm just going to I've made a note of most of them, but Woodford, Pointless, Andor. Just bear with me 1 minute. Hi, Mitch and Mel. Geordie Boy, Flying Alone. Lone Wolf. Cool. So let me just read through the ones I've got so far. I've got Mouse Ratters, Little Pigs, The Wongersons, Sherlocks, Yappy Blowers, Stowaways, Devon Dunces, LA Day Drinkers, Pointless Andor, Eminem, Geordie Boy and Lone Wolf. And we've got Team Washing Machine, Faithful Team Washing Machine. Hey Richard, good to see you. Channel 4 News. Clary, okay. And Smartinis, cool. All right. So, there was some controversy last week. People were getting slightly annoyed about the amount of recaps that I did throughout the quiz, which did make it longer. It was at half an hour longer than the week before, which I'm going to take into account. It already looks like there are more people playing this week than last. So what I'm going to do is, and try and stick to it, Spanish Males. What I'm going to do is impose a 2 cap maximum that you can request per team. So throughout the entire quiz, the 6 rounds, you as a team can only request 2 recaps, just to make it clear to everyone. I think people felt that the amount of recaps, people were going back and forth, asking different questions with an implication that there may be cheating going on. I'm not going to make a comment. The only reason I didn't impose a complete ban on going back on recaps is because I think I'm live on YouTube. You can go back and rewind the live video and have a look, I believe. So there's no point in me actually imposing a complete no recap, but I'll limit it to 2 per team. So yes, so if you haven't played before, welcome. Like I said, there are 6 rounds. First 3 rounds we take a break, we mark up, and then grab a quick drink, whatever it may be, and then we'll complete with rounds 4 to 6. Cool. Wow. I think everyone's here. If everyone's ready, oh, Tim's the last in. Quizzards. If everyone's ready, just stick ready in the box and I'll start. Serious thing when there's implications of cheating, Woodford. Let's get that out of the way quickly. By the way, what's your drink of choice? Mine is gin, as usual. Just a quick shout out, I'm not sure if they're on, but a few weeks ago, it was mine and Beth's 6th wedding anniversary, and Sam and Sophie Matlock, Sarah Glover, Amy Glover, kindly got us a selection of gins, which I am making full use of tonight. And seeing as Beth doesn't actually drink gin, it'll be mainly me. So, thank you very much. Okay, right, I think everyone's ready? Cool. Just bear with me 1 second. Right, here we are. So, Risky Quizness, this is the 3rd episode, and this is round 1, general knowledge, and this is the first question. So, question 1, in what year did the Beatles split up? In what year did the Beatles split up? Okay, everyone got that? So question 1, in what year did the Beatles split up? Question 2, what is the largest landlocked country in the world by size? What is the largest landlocked country in the world by size? So in case you don't know what landlocked mean, that's basically a country that is surrounded by another country before they reach ocean or sea. So what is the largest landlocked country in the world by size? Okay, so that was question 2. Question 3. In June 2016, the UK voted to leave the EU, which was instigated by Prime Minister David Cameron. But which Prime Minister took the UK into the EU? So question 3. In June 2016, the UK voted to leave the EU, which was instigated by Prime Minister David Cameron. But which Prime Minister took the UK into the EU? If you're smart, you might actually take pictures of the questions as you go along, so you haven't got to request a recap, but I'm not telling you how to do it. So that's question 3. Question 4. What was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? So that was the final title, but what was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind. So I think there was a request last week for literature. I haven't done the literature round, but there may be 1 or 2 literature related questions. So general knowledge, question 4. What was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? Okay, so question 5. What does GIF, G-I-F, stand for? What does GIF stand for? You probably use them every day, WhatsApp, whatever, but what does GIF, G-I-F, stand for? So that's question 5. What does GIF, G-I-F, stand for? Okay, so question 6. With over 222 million units sold, what is Apple's highest selling iPhone model ever? So with over 222 million units sold, what is Apple's highest selling iPhone model? So that's question 6, general knowledge. With over 222 million units sold, what is Apple's highest selling iPhone model? Okay, question 7. In which century did Rembrandt live? In which century did Rembrandt live? I think it was Joel last week asked for some art. Again, there's not an art around, but there may be an art question here or there. So in which century did Rembrandt live? Welcome to the party, Sarah Glover. Who are you with and what's your team name? I'm glad you didn't forget. Unfortunately, I can't go back for you, Sarah, but you might be able to ask around for some questions. Flower Power, thank you. Okay, so question 7, general knowledge. In which century did Rembrandt live? Question 8. What is the capital of Barbados? What is the capital of Barbados? Again, there isn't a geography related round this week, so there may be a couple of geography related questions spread throughout. And Lauren Fuller, it is not B in Barbados, but good answer. So what is the capital of Barbados? Okay, so the penultimate question for general knowledge, question 9. Glossectomy is the removal of all of or part of which body part? Glossectomy, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but glossectomy is the removal of all of or part of which body part? Glossectomy. So this is question 9. Glossectomy is the removal of all of or part of which body part? Okay, so on to the final question for general knowledge. Question 10. What's the largest country in the world beginning with the letter L? What's the largest country in the world beginning with the letter L? So the final question for general knowledge, question 10. What's the largest country in the world beginning with the letter L? Okay, so that was general knowledge. The next round of Risky Quizness is logos. Before I move on to this round, does any team want to use one of their 2 recaps? If not, I'll get into it. No? Okay. So, round 2 is logos. Now, with these logos, some of them have had words removed, others are slightly obscured, but they're from very well-known international brands that hopefully all of you will know at least. But yeah, they've been changed or altered slightly for you to guess which brand they're related to. Okay, so round 2, question 1. Name the logo. So which brand, company is related to this logo? Obviously there's a word that's been removed. I think that's probably enough time for everyone to see. So that's question 1. Question 2. Name the logo. So which brand or company is associated with that logo? And this round is especially for Ros02, who requested this multiple times last week, so I'm hoping that she's on. Whoop whoop from Ros. Cool, glad she's playing. Right, so that's question 2. Question 3. Name the logo. Which brand or company is associated with that logo? So that image may not be the entire image of the logo, but it's the majority of it, so you should be able to have an understanding of which company it is, if you know. I can already hear Beth moaning about these logos, but I'm sure some of you get them. Right, so that's question 3. I will move on to question 4. And this is a question. What brand name may be mistaken for a South African antelope? Question 4. What brand name may be mistaken for a South African antelope? So if you know your types of antelope, you may well get this. So question 4 on logos. What brand name may be mistaken for a South African antelope? Okay. Question 5. Question 5. Name the logo. So which company, organisation, brand is associated with that logo? Again, that's obviously not the complete logo. Something is missing. Okay. Question 6. Name the logo. So, what brand or company is associated with that logo? And again, part of it is missing. And again, I reiterate, these are worldwide international brands that you'll see in most places. Okay, so that's question 6. Question 7. Name the logo. So admittedly with this one, and one of the other ones coming up, it is slightly pixelated. That's because I had to alter it slightly, but again, everything you need to know is there. Obviously one major word is missing. Mitch knows it by the looks of it. Thinking about it, maybe our American friends might not know this one. I'm not sure. Right, okay. That was question 7. Question 8. Name the logo. So again, one major element, word is missing from this. But this phrase forms part of the brand's complete logo. Cool. So that was question 8. Question 9. Name the logo. So which brand or company is associated with that logo? All you're concentrating on here is the dark black vertical lines. The grey background you can ignore. I think that's about enough time for question 9. Question 10, and the last one from the logos round. This is the logo for McDonald's, but which Western European country has no branches of McDonald's? It's a bit of a trick question, in the fact that I'm not asking you to name the logo. But question 10, this is the logo for McDonald's, but which Western European country has no branches of McDonald's? So question 10, this is the logo for McDonald's, but which Western European country has no branches of McDonald's? You've got to think as well, all countries in the world that you'd think may not have McDonald's. When you know the answer, it's quite weird. So that was question 10. That's the logo for McDonald's, but which Western European country has no branches of McDonald's? So that was the final question for the logos round. Hope you enjoyed that. First for our weekly quiz. The next round is sport and science, a combined subject, combined round, so there'll be 5 questions on sport, 5 questions on science, as someone suggested last week, to cater for all tastes. But before we jump in, does any team want to use one of their 2 recaps to go back over a question from the logos round? If not, I will move on. Are we all good? Cool. Right. So round 3 is on sport and science. And the first question for round 3 is this one. Question 1. In which year did Venus Williams win her first Wimbledon singles title? In which year did Venus Williams win her first Wimbledon singles title? So for those of you who aren't too keen on sport, hopefully I've tempered that slightly with the fact that there's 5 science questions in here as well. And the same goes for you people that don't like science. Hopefully sport is your subject. So that was question 1. In which year did Venus Williams win her first Wimbledon singles title? Question 2. The skin is the largest organ of the human body, but what is the largest internal organ in the body? So the skin is the largest organ of the human body, but what is the largest internal organ in the body? And this is on size. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's done on size. I need a gin top up. So that's question 2. The skin is the largest organ of the human body, but what is the largest internal organ in the body? Question 3. In which country would you find the Churchill Downs sporting venue? In which country would you find the Churchill Downs sporting venue? So question 3 for sport and science. In which country would you find the Churchill Downs sporting venue? Okay. Question 4. Which type of mammal is a gelada? So which type of mammal is a gelada? Which type of mammal is a gelada? So that was question 5. From which country does F1 driver Ronnie Peterson come from? So question 5. From which country does F1 driver Ronnie Peterson come from? So question 5. From which country does F1 driver Ronnie Peterson come from? Question 6. Which 2 letters of the alphabet make up the chemical symbol for mercury? Which 2 letters of the alphabet make up the chemical symbol for mercury? So question 6, which 2 letters of the alphabet make up the chemical symbol for mercury? Question 7, name the only football team to sack Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager. Name the only football team to sack Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager. So question 7, name the only football team to sack Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager. Question 8. Where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? I think I'm pronouncing that right. But where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? It could be pronounced scalene, but I think it's scalene. So where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? I'm glad you're enjoying the anatomy questions, Stephanie. So that's question 8. Where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? Question 9. Coco Gauff made headlines at Wimbledon last year when she beat Venus Williams. How old was Gauff? Coco Gauff made headlines at Wimbledon last year when she beat Venus Williams. How old was Gauff? I think I forgot to mention at the beginning that the last round is on film, but it's purely on Marvel, just to give you a heads up. So if you've got kids nearby that might be a fan of Marvel, maybe grab them for the last round. But it's been requested a number of weeks, so I finally got it in, get it out of the way, basically. But yeah, the last 10 questions will be on Marvel. So question 9, sport and science. Coco Gauff made headlines at Wimbledon last year when she beat Venus Williams. How old was Gauff at the time? So, last question for sport and science, question 10. Of what is petrology the study? Of what is petrology the study? So if you're studying petrology, what would you be studying? So that's question 10 for sport and science. Of what is petrology the study? So we've done general knowledge, we've done logos, and we've just completed sport and science. So before we move on and mark the first 3 rounds, everyone's able to take a break, grab a drink, top up, whatever, toilet break. If any teams want to use one of their 2 recaps on a particular round or question, then let me know. I can go back. But perhaps add up when we go through, add up your scores, let me know before we start the last 3 rounds, and then we'll give a kind of a halfway team lead, I suppose. So does any teams need clarification on some questions? Do you need to recap on any questions? You have 2 recaps per team.
The mammal question. I said to my mum, I don't know any types of mammal, and she said a mammal is an animal who's young or born alive.
As opposed to being born dead. Brilliant. Frank, number 4 of which round? Just let me know. General knowledge. If you're quick, you might see some of these again. So this was question 4, general knowledge. What was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? So what was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? Gone with the Wind was the final title, but what was the working title? Cool. If you're ready to start marking, just stick ready in the box and I'll go through the first round. What's everyone drinking? I saw someone was drinking ale. Was that Ben? Everyone else? Sarah, you came on late, but I was thanking you and Sam and Sophie for the gin selection that you got, Beth and I. I'm mostly making use of them, but they're great, thank you. Cosmos, oh, okay. Pepsi Max Ginger, cool. Whiskey and coffee, nice. Cool, okay, right, let's mark the first round, general knowledge. So, question 1, in what year did the Beatles split up? That was 1970. 1970. You might remember their last gig together was on top of the Apple building. But yes, they split up in 1970. Question 2. What is the largest landlocked country in the world by size? That's Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. I've got a fly in the room. What is the largest landlocked country in the world by size? That's Kazakhstan. Question 3. In June 2016, the UK voted to leave the EU, which was instigated by Prime Minister David Cameron, but which Prime Minister took the UK into the EU? That was Edward Heath in the end. So which Prime Minister took the UK into the EU? That was Edward Heath. Question 4. What was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? Bar Bar Black Sheep. So what was the working title of Margaret Mitchell's classic 1936 novel, Gone with the Wind? Bar Bar Black Sheep. Obviously it's to do with the Civil War, Deep South, racial tension, so maybe that's where the name comes from. Cool, so that's question 4. Question 5. What does GIF, G-I-F, stand for? That's Graphics Interchange Format. Most people might have chosen file, but it's format. So Graphics Interchange Format. What does GIF stand for? Question 6. With over 222 million units sold, what is Apple's highest selling iPhone model? That's the iPhone 6, 6 Plus. So with over 222 million units sold, what is Apple's highest selling iPhone model? It's the iPhone 6 Plus. No, Nick, you do not get a point for graphics. Question 7. In which century did Rembrandt live? That was the 17th century. In which century did Rembrandt live? That was the 17th century. I knew someone would pick up on the last question about the Apple. Apple class models as the ones that are released in sequence. So both of those phones were released at the same time. Essentially it's the same phone, but with extra features. I take your point, but they class them together, hence why it's 6 and 6 Plus. But if you got either, fine, you can have the point. Cool, so that was question 8. That's question 7. This is question 8. What is the capital of Barbados? That's Bridgetown. What is the capital of Barbados? That's Bridgetown. Question 9. Glossectomy is the removal of all or part of which body part? That's the tongue. And the fact that I made a tongue twister out of it might have been a clue. But the glossectomy is the removal of all of or part of which body part? That's the tongue. Question 10, the final question for general knowledge, was what's the largest country in the world beginning with the letter L? That's Libya. What's the largest country in the world beginning with the letter L? That's Libya. Cool. So that was general knowledge. Round 2 was logos. So first question was name the logo for this. That was IMDb. So question 1, that logo is for IMDb. The Internet Movie Database. So IMDb. You're right, Ben Nunn. Apparently Joel is a genius, so I'd expect him to get them all right. That's question 1. Question 2 was Pantene Pro V. So like I said, they are quite well-known logos. And once you see them, it becomes easier, obviously. So that was question 2. That was Pantene Pro V. Question 3, that was the logo for Firestone. So if you know your cars, your tyres, whatever, that's the logo for Firestone. Question 4, what brand name may be mistaken for a South African antelope? That's Reebok. Reebok is a type of antelope. So question 4, what brand name may be mistaken for a South African antelope? That's Reebok. Question 5, name the logo. That was UNICEF. Question 5, that was UNICEF. Not to be confused with the United Nations, but that is the logo for UNICEF. Cool. So question 6, name the logo. That's Unilever. Unilever, who make pretty much everything. A massive FMCG brand. That's Unilever. Question 7, name the logo. And I think a few of you got this. It's a beer brand, Leffe. Question 7 was Leffe. Question 8, that was Panasonic, Ideas for Life. Sarah Glover, you do not get points for missing the first round. Arguably, yes, Belgian beer is the best. Although there are a few decent German beers. So question 8, that was Panasonic, Ideas for Life. Question 9 was Cisco. That's question 9 in logos, that was Cisco. Question 10. This is a logo for McDonald's, but which Western European country has no branches of McDonald's? That's Iceland. So Iceland has no branches of McDonald's. I think they had one up until 2009, but it closed. And they have a homegrown brand of kind of fast food outlets that people choose rather than McDonald's. Cool. So that was logos. The next round was sport and science. But Greg Howe says he's got 100% so far. I'm sure Greg's probably got his friend G. Ugal with him as well. Cool. Right. First question. In which year did Venus Williams win her first Wimbledon singles title? That was in 2000. So, sport and science. Question 1. In which year did Venus Williams win her first Wimbledon singles title? That was in 2000. Question 2. The skin is the largest organ of the human body, but what is the largest internal organ in the body? That's the liver. Question 2, the skin is the largest organ of the human body, but what is the largest internal organ in the body? That's the liver. Question 3, in which country would you find the Churchill Downs sporting venue? That's in the USA, Louisville, Kentucky, and it's for horse racing. That's where the Kentucky Derby takes place. So, question 3. Question 4, which type of mammal is a gelada? That's a monkey, or bleeding heart monkey, which are only found in Ethiopia. Again, Nick, no points for guessing it was horse racing. Question 5, from which country does F1 driver Ronnie Peterson come from? That's Sweden. From which country does F1 driver Ronnie Peterson come from? That's Sweden. Question 6. Which 2 letters of the alphabet make up the chemical symbol for mercury? That's Hg. Question 7. Name the only football team to sack Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager. That's St Mirren. Question 8. Where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? That's in the neck. There were 3 of them, apparently. So where in the body would you find the scalene muscles? That's in the neck. Question 9. Coco Gauff made headlines at Wimbledon last year when she beat Venus Williams. How old was Gauff? She was 15. 15. And then the last question for sport and science, question 10. of what is petrology the study? That's rocks. If you know your Greek mythology, you might have got that. Medusa who turned people to stone, apparently they were petrified, that's where the term came from. Petrology is based from that. It's rocks. Cool, right. Add up your scores. Let me know. You're right, Nick, I do hate Liverpool. Add up your scores, let me know where you are at the halfway point. I want to do a quick tally up, or we can wait until the end, it's up to you. Phil and Manny, 14 out of 30. Phil, what was your team name? Ferguson 7, 30, Richard Haynes 17. Greg, I haven't got you down for a team, so I'm not going to include your score. Lauren, 24 out of 30. Frank, 12 out of 30. Give me some ice, please. Clifton. Cliff, are you with Tim Lallison again? I think you probably are. 18 out of 30. James. What's he doing? 16. Stowaways. Sorry, I'm going quiet. I'm just reading through your messages. 12 out of 30. Mitch and Mel, 14. Out of 30 for Clary. Ben Nunn. Yeah, Ben 22. Team washing machine, 12 out of 30. Jordan, 11. We are not Smartacus, 9 out of 30. Sherlock's, 10. I haven't got a score for LA Day Drinkers. Phil, I know you're the stowaways, but I missed your score. If you can put it back in. Who was Lone Wolf? Oh, okay, cool. What was your score, Shaz? Was it 8? Just remind me. 10 out of 30 for LA Day. Eight. Yeah, I got the little pigs. 8. Stowaways. I need one for stowaways. I think that's Phil's team. I missed his score. And Quizzards. They're the only two I'm missing. Quizzards and stowaways. Quizzards, not Tizzards. I don't think they're going to own up. Right, I'm going to start. Everyone ready for me to go into the next round? Round 4 is food and drink.
Quizzards have put theirs in already, it's 18.
Who are the Quizzards?
It's him, I think.
Oh, yes, sorry. Put them in twice, that's why. Sorry, got Quizzards. Stowaways is the only one I was waiting on, but... Okay, cool, let's get on with it. So, food and drink is round 4. Right, I'm going in. Question 1. An Indian meal which included masoor would have what ingredient? So question 1, an Indian meal which included masoor would have what ingredient? Thanks, Phil. That was question 1. Question 2. Black krim, green zebra and yellow pear are all varieties of which fruit? Black krim, green zebra and yellow pear are all varieties of which fruit? So black krim, green zebra and yellow pear are all varieties of which fruit? Question 3. Production of Singer beer began in which country in 1934? Production of Singer beer began in which country in 1934? I also didn't get a score from Pie in the Oven, Jason and Megan, but we can come back to that at the end. So, question 3, production of Singer beer began in which country in 1934? Question 4. In a carpet bag steak, what are placed into a pocket cut into the meat? In a carpet bag steak, what are placed into a pocket cut into the meat? So question 4, in a carpet bag steak, what are placed into a pocket cut into the meat? Jason and Megan have had to pull out, so I will remove them. So that was question 4. Question 5. What is added to a martini to make it a dirty martini? What is added to a martini to make a dirty martini? So question 5, what is added to a martini to make a dirty martini? Question 6, the Rappel Valley is a large wine producing region in which country? The Rappel Valley is a large wine producing region in which country? That was question 6. Question 7. Who originally wrote and recorded the song Red Red Wine, which which UB40 had a hit in 1983? So on the wine subject, who originally wrote and recorded the song Red Red Wine, with which UB40 had a hit in 1983? So UB40 had a hit with that song, but who originally wrote it and recorded it? That was question 7. Question 8. What is the national dish of Jamaica? What is the national dish of Jamaica? It's in answer to your question, Jordan, the last question was wine related. See? So question 8, what is the national dish of Jamaica? I'm expecting you to get that right, Tim. Question 9. What do Americans call fresh coriander? So what do Americans call fresh coriander? Nick, you can just take it from me that you don't get a point for anything that's close to the right answer. So question 9, what do Americans call fresh coriander? And then the last question for food and drink, question 10. Which fruit was the title of a number 8 UK hit for a band called The Presidents of the United States of America in 1996? Which fruit was the title of a number 8 UK hit for a band called The Presidents of the United States of America in 1996? So again, it's music related, but it's also food related because the name of the hit was a fruit. Eric, are you telling me that I've been duped? You actually just call it coriander. I have heard of the term that's used. Whether it's widely used or not, I'm not sure. So that was food and drink. The next round, which was requested last week, I think by Sam Fuller, is round 5. Are you smarter than a 12-year-old? Before we jump into that, does any teams need a question to be recapped? No? Okay, so round 5, are you smarter than a 12-year-old? These are basically questions that 12-year-old kids are taught at school, apparently, and that most of them should know, would know. So it's themed around that. So are you smarter than a 12-year-old? Cool. So, question 1. What does P E stand for in P paragraph? So what does P stand for in P paragraph? Cool. Question 2. What is the capital of Argentina? What is the capital of Argentina? Question 3. How many people are allowed to shoot in a netball match? How many people are allowed to shoot in a netball match? So I know some of the local sisters, up until quarantine, had been playing netball once a month. They should know the answer. So in a netball match, how many people are allowed to shoot? Question 4. How do you spell the word defined here? Tastelessly cheap and showy, flashy, highly decorated in a vulgar way. So that's a definition of a word. How do you spell that word? So how do you spell the word defined here? Tastelessly cheap and showy, flashy, highly decorated in a vulgar way. So how do you spell the word defined here? Tastelessly cheap and showy, flashy, highly decorated in a vulgar way. Cool. So question 5. Sad is to sadness as true is to... Sad is to sadness as true is to... That's question 5. Sad is to sadness as true is to... Question 6. What month of the year is named after the Roman Julius Caesar? Jordan cracked me up. Jordan has put in the chat, if quizzes are quizzical, what are tests? Question 6. What month of the year is named after the Roman Julius Caesar? That was question 6. Question 7. In which Roald Dahl book do the farmers Boggis, Bunce and Bean appear? So in which Roald Dahl book do the farmers Boggis, Bunce and Bean appear? That was question 7. Question 8. What 8-letter word describes the wire inside a light bulb? What 8-letter word describes the wire inside a light bulb? So what 8-letter word describes the wire inside a light bulb? That was question 8. Question 9. In 2012, NASA sent a rover to the planet Mars. In September of that year, it beamed back its first self-portrait. What was the name of the rover? So in 2012, NASA sent a rover to the planet Mars. In September of that year, it beamed back its first self-portrait. What was the name of the rover? Cool. Question 10, the last one for this round. On a map, what does a pink triangle signify? On a map, what does a pink triangle signify? So that was question 10 of Are You Smarter Than a 12-year-old? The next round, and this is the final round of the quiz, round 6. This is film, but this is purely on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if you weren't into Marvel, your kids nearby, or you need to phone a friend for help, get them get them now. But before I jump into it, does anyone need clarification on any questions? Need to recap? No one has asked me this week, which is interesting. Michael Asamoah, what map? On any map. Maybe not any map, but most. Ordnance Survey maps, maybe. But it's a internationally recognised symbol. Right, are we ready? Everyone want to move into round 6, Marvel? Cool, right. So, question 1 on Marvel. Which former Doctor Who companion plays cyborg assassin Nebula? So, which former Doctor Who companion plays cyborg assassin Nebula? So, name the actress, essentially, who plays Nebula. I apologise now to those that aren't into Marvel, but I've had this request every week, so I thought I'd get it out of the way. Cool. So which former Doctor Who companion plays cyborg assassin Nebula? Question 2. What is the name of Nick Fury's pet cat? What is the name of Nick Fury's pet cat? So that's question 2. What is the name of Nick Fury's pet cat? Question 3. In the film Black Panther, who is made king of Wakanda? And the answer is not Black Panther. So question 3. In the film Black Panther, who is made king of Wakanda? The answer is not Black Panther. Okay, that was question 3. Question 4. Who is the main villain in Spider-Man Homecoming? I'm not looking for the actor, I want the character's name. So who is the main villain in Spider-Man Homecoming? Cool. That's question 4. Question 5. Avengers Endgame is the top grossing Marvel film, with Avengers Infinity War coming second. But which film, without the word Avengers in the title, ranks the highest? So essentially, Endgame came first in total grossing. Infinity War was second. I believe Avengers Assemble was third, but which title that doesn't have the word Avenger in it would rank the highest? So Avengers Endgame is the top grossing Marvel film, with Avengers Infinity War second, but which film without the word Avengers in the title ranks the highest? So if you take the Marvel films and the ones with the word Avengers in it out of the equation, which one of the Marvel films would rank the highest out of them all? I also believe, as an extra note, that the Endgame is also the world's top grossing film ever, I think. So that's question 5. Avengers Endgame is the top grossing Marvel film, with Avengers Infinity War coming second, but which film, without the word Avengers in the title, ranks the highest? I expect someone might ask me to clarify that later. But question 6. What is the one thing on Earth that Pepper Potts is allergic to? What is the one thing on Earth that Pepper Potts is allergic to? That was question 6. Question 7. What is the Falcon's real name? As in character name, not actor's name. But the character that is Falcon, what is his name? I am after full names as well. Going to be a stickler for that. What is the Falcon's real name? So that's question 8. Sorry, that's question 7. This is question 8. Who is credited alongside Stan Lee as creator of some of Marvel's favourite characters, such as Captain America, the Hulk, and Iron Man? And I know that should say the Incredible Hulk. So who is credited alongside Stan Lee as creator of some of Marvel's favourite characters, such as Captain America, the Hulk, and Iron Man? No point for the actor Nick. So that's question 8. Who is credited alongside Stan Lee as creator of some of Marvel's favourite characters, such as Captain America, the Hulk, and Iron Man? That was question 8. Question 9. What does SHIELD stand for? What does SHIELD stand for? That's question 9. What does SHIELD stand for? And then the last question on film and Marvel, and the last question of this week's quiz. Who is Tony Stark's head of security? Again, full names please. So who is Tony Stark's head of security? So that was question 10. Who is Tony Stark's head of security? And again, I need a full name. Right. Cool. So, before we start marking answers for food and drink, does anyone want anything clarified from that last round? Any recaps? If not, then we'll get straight into food and drink answers. All good? Are you ready for me to start going into answers? Just stick ready in the box. Yeah, okay, we're ready. Right, let's go. So, food and drink answers. An Indian meal which included masoor would have had what ingredient? That's red lentils. So an Indian meal which included masoor would have what ingredient? That's red lentils. Question 2. Black krim, green zebra and yellow pear are all varieties of which fruit? That is tomato. That might have thrown you, thinking you're not thinking of a tomato as a fruit, but it is. But black krim, green zebra and yellow pear are all varieties of tomato. Food and drink, question 3. Production of Singer beer began in which country in 1934? That was Thailand. Production of Singer beer began in which country in 1934? That was Thailand. Perhaps you might have said India because of the name, but no, it was Thailand. Question 4. In a carpet bag steak, what are placed into a pocket cut into the meat? That's oysters. Never had it myself, but in a carpet bagged steak, what are placed into a pocket cut into the meat? That's oysters. Question 5. What is added to a martini to make it a dirty martini? That's olive brine. So what is added to a martini to make it a dirty martini? That's olive brine. I thought you would have liked that, Dad. A mix of, meat and seafood. Can't accept olives. Most martinis come with olives, but to make it a dirty, you include the brine. So sorry, Jaden, can't do that. Question 6. the Rappel Valley is a large wine producing region in which country? That's in Chile. So the Rappel Valley is a large wine producing region in which country? That's in Chile. Question 7. Who originally wrote and recorded the song Red Red Wine, with which UB40 had a hit in 1983? That was Neil Diamond. So who originally wrote and recorded the song Red Red Wine, with which UB40 had a hit in 1983? That was Neil Diamond. Question 8. What is the national dish of Jamaica? That's ackee and saltfish. I want to know if Tim and Clifton got that. What is the national dish of Jamaica? Ackee and saltfish. James Woodford thinks he got it right. I think goat curry is more of an African dish. Cool, right. Question 9. What do Americans call fresh coriander? I'm only going by what I've been told. Apparently they call it cilantro, sometimes also known as Chinese parsley or Mexican parsley. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. If you just call it coriander, then fair enough. But according to the research I've done, Americans call coriander cilantro. Cool, I've been told that at least in South America they call it cilantro. Okay, cool. So, question 10. Which fruit was the title of a number 8 UK hit for a band called the Presidents of the United States of America in 1996? That's peaches. Which fruit was the title of a number 8 UK hit for a band called the Presidents of the United States of America in 1996? That's peaches. Apparently the first record that Nick bought. Cool, so that was food and drink. The next round was, are you smarter than a 12-year-old? Yeah, keep your scores, add them up at the end, so give me a total for that 30 and then I'll add them to the last 30. So don't put them in the group just yet. Cool, so first question, what does PEE stand for in PEE paragraph? It's point, evidence, explain. So PEE stands for point, evidence, explain. Cool, question 2. What is the capital of Argentina? That's Buenos Aires. What is the capital of Argentina? That's Buenos Aires. Question 3. How many people are allowed to shoot in a netball match? There are 2 teams in a netball match, so it's 4. 2 on each team. So how many people are allowed to shoot in a netball match? That's 4, 2 on each team. Question 4. How do you spell the word defined here? Tastelessly cheap and showy, flashy, highly decorated in a vulgar way. That's gaudy. Basically any furniture that comes out of Portugal, that's how you would describe it. Cool. Question 5. Sad is to sadness as true is to truth. Sad is to sadness as true is to truth. Question 6. What month of the year is named after the Roman Julius Caesar? That's July. So what month of the year is named after the Roman Julius Caesar? That's July. Question 7. In which Roald Dahl book do the farmers Boggis, Bunce and Bean appear? That's Fantastic Mr. Fox. In which Roald Dahl book do the farmers Boggis, Bunce and Bean appear? Fantastic Mr. Fox. Question 8. What 8-letter word describes the wire inside a light bulb? That's filament. What 8-letter word describes the wire inside a light bulb? That's filament. Question 9. In 2012, NASA sent a rover to the planet Mars. In September of that year, it beamed back its first self-portrait. What was the name of the rover? That was Curiosity. So the rover was called Curiosity. And then the final question for this round was, on a map, what does a pink triangle signify? That's a youth hostel. On a map, what does a pink triangle signify? That's a youth hostel. Okay, so the next round and the final round was the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, so first question. Which former Doctor Who companion plays cyborg assassin Nebula? That's Karen Gillan. Which former Doctor Who companion plays cyborg assassin Nebula? Karen Gillan. Question 2. What is the name of Nick Fury's pet cat? It's Goose. Now I say cat like that because it's actually a flurkin. So what is the name of Nick Fury's pet cat? That was Goose. Question 3. In the film Black Panther, who is made King of Wakanda? That's T'Challa. So in the film Black Panther, who is made King of Wakanda? That's T'Challa. I knew someone might mention Killmonger. If you put Killmonger, I will accept it, but the official answer is T'Challa. Right, question 4. Who is the main villain in Spider-Man Homecoming? That's Vulture. One point for each, Nick. If you put both down, it's 1 point. So who is the main villain in Spider-Man Homecoming? That is Vulture. Question 5. Avengers Endgame is the top grossing Marvel film, with Avengers Infinity War coming second, but which film without the word Avengers in the title ranks the highest? That is Black Panther. So the highest ranking Marvel film without the word Avengers in it is Black Panther. I think it comes 4th in total. Question 6. What is the one thing on earth that Pepper Potts is allergic to? Strawberries. What is the one thing on earth that Pepper Potts is allergic to? That's strawberries. Question 7. What is the Falcon's real name? That's Sam Wilson. What is the Falcon's real name? Sam Wilson. Question 8. Who is credited alongside Stan Lee as creator of some of Marvel's favourite characters such as Captain America, the Hulk and Iron Man? That's Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby. Doesn't get as much credit as Stan Lee. He left Marvel twice, went to DC once. Didn't get the credit that he probably deserved. But he created hundreds of characters, but some of these are the most well-known ones. And he is credited in most of the films as well. Question 9. What does SHIELD stand for? That stands for Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division. Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division. Cool. And then the final question. Who is Tony Stark's head of security? That's Happy Hogan. Happy Hogan. Cool. All good? Does anyone need me to go back over another one? Any questions that you missed? Right, before you start putting scores in, hold on. Let me get my pad. Just switch this up. Okay. Cool. Right. Greg, I'm not accepting your score. Jordan, 28 out of 60. Not as good as last week, Jordan. I think you're missing some of your team members. Ben Nunn, 20 out of 30. What's the easiest way of doing this? When you put your scores in, can you put your team names alongside? Because I'm going to forget who the individuals are. Smartinis, weren't you? Wow, you guys are getting well ahead of me. Ben Nunn, 21 out of 30. Sarah Glover, 19 out of 30. Okay. James Woodford, 42 out of 60. Pointless Andor. Jaden Thargerson, 11 out of 30. 18 out of 60. Sorry, bear with me, I've just got to add these up. Sherlock's 26 out of 60. Poor show, Sherlock's. I think you're missing Matt. Richard Hayes, Channel 4 News, 16 out of 30. 7. Phil Manny, 24 out of 60. Pigs 20 out of 60. Again, please bear with me, sorry. M&M 30 out of 60. Shaz. Oh yes, Shannon, you're Lone Wolf, I think. So 5 out of 30. Tim, I think you are the Quizzards. 38 out of 60. Lauren, you're the Devon Dunces. 48 out of 60. Yappy below us, 31 out of 60. Tony Little, I've got that already. Ben Nunn, 43 out of 60. I think I've already got that. No. 43 out of 60. Spanish males, 30 out of 60. Mouse Ratters, 22 out of 60. Flower Power, 19 out of 30. Oh yeah, got that. Ben Turner, 32 out of 60. Smarticus, 24 out of 60. Put that in place. Okay. Team Washing Machine, 29 out of 60. $27 out of 60 for LA Drinkers. Clary, 26 out of 60. Cool, I've got everyone. Let me just clarify. Yeah, we do have a winner. I think we also have a joint second place. Okay. Just double checking this, make sure I've not missed anyone. Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry about that. So, Greg, not including your score. So, in third place with 42 out of 60 was Pointless Andor, which was Woodford's team. So well done. Second place with 43 out of 60 were the Smartinis, Ben Nunn's team. But way out, well, say way out in front with 48 out of 60 are the Devon Dunces, Lauren's team. So well done. I think there was many more teams playing this week than last. But yeah, no, thanks for that. It's been good fun. Apart from general knowledge, all of those categories were new. So, did you enjoy them? Do you want me to bring something back that wasn't here this week? I know a lot enjoyed the Bible round from last week. Do you want me to do another one? So yeah, put it in the comments. Give me some ideas. We'll always do 6 rounds, but they can rotate. Whatever you want. So if you enjoyed it, if you've played for the first time, then thank you. If you think others might enjoy it, then feel free to pass on the channel link. Get them to subscribe if you can. That would be good. Eric, I don't think I can do a Bible Cinematic Universe round. Oh no. No, that's... Yeah, films based on Bibles, stories. That could be a good round. That could be a good round. Multiple choice. I've not done multiple choice, and that's for the main reason that most pub quizzes don't include multiple choice. Most decent ones anyway. So I've avoided that. But if there's a lot of desire for it, I'll do it. Star Wars, I think I will do. So I've done a round this week on film that was the Marvel. I think I will do Star Wars next week. Mike Yap as a subject. I think there's only 10 questions on each round. Disney. I've included Disney in a few of the quizzes. I'm not sure if it do an entire round on it. Mitch, we're not in a pub, but it is a pub quiz. Animals and science. Yeah, someone else asked for animals. I think I will do a round on animals actually. Shannon, we normally just do a general film and TV round, but this week I changed it specifically to Marvel. Next week I'll probably just do Star Wars, then after that I'll go back to the general questions. Film clips and music clips I'm avoiding because the rules on copyright and stuff through YouTube is I don't want to get into it. I can bring music back. Whiskey rounds, yeah, no, it's a bit too niche. But I think animals is a good one. Maybe films based on Bible I'll do at a later date as part of a kind of a Bible quiz. I'll definitely do Star Wars as the film one for next week. I won't do gardening, but I could do nature. Logos were good. I normally do a picture round. So I can keep logos. Maybe I can do 5 logos instead and another 5 pictures. Change it up a bit. Sam, this is the second week you've asked for close-up pictures. Then yeah, I might do that. Facts about beer pong. The only fact you need to know is I'm king of beer pong. Coronavirus fake news round, Jordan. That could go on forever. Donald Trump is basically the answer to every question. Yeah. I won't do an entire quiz of multiple choice. I might add a few multiple choice questions throughout the quiz, so maybe 6 or 7 throughout. Greg Howe did not go to Springwood High School. He barely went to school, but when he did, he went to Stewards. History, I normally do history. I avoided it this week, but I can bring it back. Bring it on, Frank, bring it on. Cool. So, let me make a note. So, animals I will do. For film, it will be Star Wars. That means I can get 2 massive franchises out of the way and we can move on. Close-up pictures, yeah, I could do that. Geography. Yeah. People do like geography, I would include that. There's quite a lot of geography questions. I know it wasn't a geography round this week. There were a few geography questions. I'm not going to do badminton, Dad. Paul Bailey, that's a good one. I have thought about celebs. Yeah, would people be interested in doing a kind of celebrity gossip, celeb rounds? I don't know. I did think of doing something like that. Merch is coming soon, Nick. Watch this space. Like, share, ring the bell, all that. Literature. Yeah, maybe. I'll put a question mark next to literature. Again, I mentioned it last week. I haven't got it started yet, but I will be eventually, as some of you may know, from Monday this week coming, I'm going to be put on furlough for 4 weeks, which is basically 4 weeks off work for me. So I'm going to have some time on my hands to produce this quiz. I mentioned last week that I want to do something called Mediocre Mind, my take on Mastermind, which I want to get off the ground. So if you want to be included in that, I need 4 contestants. So put your names forward, either privately or just drop me a text or a comment on here, and I can get that together. I also want to do something for the kids that might be off school. So maybe a kids quiz during the week, once a week. Maybe some science experiments that you can do from home. So if you've got kids and you think they might be interested, then let me know. I might try and get that off the ground next week. But yeah, so yeah, mediocre mind coming, kids quiz coming. I also want to partake in a quiz, so I may ask Beth to host a quiz in the next couple of weeks, and then I can take part, and you get to see her lovely face instead of mine, and I can actually play. So yeah, okay, so for next week I'm looking at animals, Star Wars, close-up pictures, geography, maybe literature, and I'll think of 1 or 2 others. But thanks guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate you coming online. Again, if you think others that haven't played before might enjoy it, then please share the link. But for now, good night, take care of yourselves.